All right. Hello and welcome back to another segment, episode, whatever we're calling these officially, of another TBP Talks. We've got a variety of topics to knock out today, so mostly just stuff I was, either casually doing or came across or had a little bit of an interest in this week. So, yeah. Once again, another live stream, but this time not solo. I'm actually with a friend and fellow content creator, collaborator, if you will. And yeah, I'll just go ahead and let you introduce yourself. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself proper, or you have some pretty sweet nicknames. I've known you by several names over the years, so I don't know. Pick one.
Hello, my name's Chris. The main nickname he would know me by is Low Chris from his Denal Wisek campaign that we recently completed. Uh, yeah, otherwise we had a podcast, Monsters and Mythos, that we did for a good couple of months. But life and circumstances just got in the way of that, like an asshole, and yeah, just chilling. So he asked if I wanted to hop on and chit chat, and I said, why the hell not?
This is a perfect show for just chilling and chit chatting. I don't know if you caught anything from last time, but I talked a little bit about various topics and things. It was a good time. But one thing that I kind of the main topic, what I started off the conversation with was Bigfoot. So since then, this was like a week or two ago. I've already posted a YouTube video. By the way, if you're checking out my stream, Tater Brain Pod also has a YouTube channel. I've got tons of content over there, Dungeons and Dragons content, a bunch of VODs, like video on demands from Twitch. You know what I mean? Like video game streams, tons and tons of fun content. Go check it out. I kind of lost track. Oh yeah, so it's out there on the YouTube if you want to go check it out. TBP Talks Bigfoot and more. It was a pretty dense episode. It was almost a couple of hours. But anyway, so since that came out, I've had some people kind of reach out to me about some Bigfoot stuff. So I got to do some what I call like Bigfoot updates. That's what we're going with right now. So one of these first Bigfoot updates that got to me was Bigfoot works for the government, so any real evidence gets strange men in black to investigate, and they delete or destroy evidence. So essentially that's kind of like the answer when I brought up that there's no actually evidence of Bigfoot, nothing that is held up to scientific scrutiny anyway. All of the samples of hair and teeth and scat and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera have proven to be, not what they were looking for, not evidence of Bigfoot. So yeah, apparently that's why there's no evidence of Bigfoot. And it's not that he's not real and that they haven't like found any evidence. It's that when credible evidence is given, strange men in black come and muscle these scientists, and that's one of the continuing conspiracy theories about Bigfoot. Another update
Yeah.
from last
Oh,
episode. Oh, go ahead.
yeah,
Jump in at any time. Don't let me stop you, bro.
that actually makes sense. Smokey is not really a bear. That's his code name. Smokey is Bigfoot out trying to stop wildfires.
I mean, fair. I mean, fair. Yeah.
I
It'll be.
mean, bears don't talk on walking. Bears don't talk and walk on 2 feet. Bigfoot does. So clearly, Smokey the bear, in quotes, is Bigfoot.
Oh, it makes perfect sense now. And then, of course, he's got a cushy federal government job doing the national park thing. And so, dude, he's like set, you know. Maybe they're right. Maybe Bigfoot is working for the government, but he's not like some high up agent. He's like a fucking park ranger or something.
Or maybe that's why Red Dawn hasn't happened, because as the Russians come to invade, he's taking them out in the backwoods of Canada before they ever get down to the Continental.
I mean, who knew Bigfoot was a patriot, you know?
God bless that man thing.
Uh, um, I could never tell if it was Bigfoot or like if you want, what is the plural of Bigfoot? Bigfoots or big feet? Is that what
I
is
think
that?
it's Foots.
I mean, foots just feels weird, but I could be. I mean, yeah. So another update from the last episode was something that I guess I did not clarify enough on. So apparently, Bigfoot can also freeze, fast forward, or rewind time for up to 2 to 10 minutes. I said he could like for up to 2 to 10 minutes he could like freeze time. Apparently, I was wrong. It's not just freeze time. Bigfoot can freeze, fast forward, or rewind time for 2 to 10 minutes, so he is never captured. Being able to kind of go back in time to when a few seconds ago before he was captured. So he's like ever elusive because of this like weird kind of time travel ability that he's got going on. So it's like
Did you ever,
interesting but weird.
did you ever watch that Nicolas Cage movie, Next?
Yes, that's exactly what I thought of when I heard that shit. I was like, "Oh, so
Oh,
Bigfoot is Nicolas Cage?" Question mark.
or maybe he doesn't time travel. Maybe he can see 2 to 10 minutes into the future, so he knows where you'll be, so he's able to just skirt around.
This motherfucker. So, what do you think, Marvel or DC? Like, where this guy's accumulated such a vast array of powers at this point. Like, how's there not a fucking Marvel or DC Bigfoot superhero movie by now? What the fuck?
I believe there are comics based on Bigfoot, and he has appeared in both properties, just not as a standalone. And maybe because they can't copyright the name, so they don't want to do it.
I mean, fair. Yeah, you can't copyright that. That's kind of rough. Um, okay. Also, another quick update. This is the last Bigfoot thing that I've got for now. But so this Bigfoot apparently has a new power, one that I was unaware of completely. Brand spanking new Bigfoot power. I never heard of this shit. So apparently, Bigfoot secretes an odor that scrambles brains, and it makes anyone who gets too close have like amnesia and forget that they ever met or had a Bigfoot encounter. So apparently there's a special kind of Bigfoot stank out there, and it's it's memory wiping, amnesia stank. I don't know. What do you think of that, Chris?
I think I've actually heard that one, or that has a high pitch yell that also messes with your brain, or like if it looked at you, it had a hypnotic gaze. I swear there was a combination of all three of those.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I agree. I think it's something like. Sorry, my little mic got a little echoey here for a second. Let me mute that. Okay, so um, I'm just gonna do a quick wrap up, real quick, on this whole Bigfoot situation. So this is as I know it. Maybe I'm wrong. Fire off in the
Update
comments or get in the chat.
4.
Say that
My,
again.
my update 4, my personal head canon that I've been playing with.
Okay, okay. So
Bigfoot
go ahead and
Bigfoot
hit me
is a
with it.
fey creature.
Like a fairy?
Yes, fairy, leprechauns, sprites, brownies, all found in Irish, pretty much Celtic folklore. Banshees, they're all part of the She or the Fae and the fairies, and so they have a whole realm. They pop in and out of existence. They can disappear for a long time. Bigfoot's just a fairy, dude.
I never thought that maybe he was just a big fuzzy fairy. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you do see like those trippy '70s posters with like Bigfoot and a bunch of like gnomes harvesting like pot in the forest or something.
Exactly, that's just his cousins. Where do you think they do that at? Out there in Fairy Kingdom, man.
Okay, well that makes a little more sense. That's a little, but yeah, fuck yeah. So, obviously, we don't mind talking cryptids here. I know that you've deep dived into several like cryptid topics in the past. Do you have anything grinding at you? Any like what's a good tale? What's like your favorite cryptid, or maybe your favorite like spooky ass story or something that came from said cryptid? Like, who's your number one? Is it Bigfoot?
It's not. It's actually because I have a very childlike maturity. It's a yokai from Japan. I'm trying to Google its name right now. So imagine you're walking down the street and you see a silhouette of what looks to be human. And as you approach, you notice that where his face is supposed to be has no features. It's just a flat slate. And then this thing turns around, drops its pants, and shows you his brown eye. And by that I don't mean butthole. It's a literal eyeball where that is supposed to be. And then it laughs and runs off.
I mean, it that doesn't sound entirely pleasant, but I mean, I think I've met that guy in America once or twice.
So, Shirami. It is just because somebody came up with something that, is cartoonish, but it got passed around. So it's like hilarious what people will come up with. The other one that I really like from Japan is supposed to be a female, and you'll see her like by a train station. Looks beautiful, but she's wearing one of those surgical masks. And she'll approach you and ask, "Do you think I'm beautiful?" And if you say yes, she pulls down the mask and she has her mouth slit all the way to her ears, mouth just full of jagged teeth. And she'll ask again, "Do you still think I'm beautiful?" And if you say no, she'll kill you. And if you say yes, she'll say, "Let me make you beautiful then," and take a knife and slit your mouth up to your ears.
That's not great. That's terrifying. This is the Japanese folklore, or what? What?
Yeah, it's one of their more modern tales. But that's a ghost type thing that you would find, give you a good Cthulhu esque monster to come up with.
Yeah, that's
Just
dark,
hey,
man. Holy shit. I think I like the
but those
brown
are
eye guy
fun.
better.
But I mean, yes, I just enjoy cryptids and folklore, and especially when you travel or track them through history, like unicorns. Everybody thinks they're so beautiful and gorgeous, and oh, these princesses had these horses. And when you actually look at the first tales of the unicorn, they were more like donkeys, and they would have blood all over them because they killed people and ate them.
That's dark. That's not mythology. That I thought they were just beautiful, majestic creatures. I didn't.
Now, that didn't happen until when was it? Somewhere in the medieval period. They started getting associated with virgins, and then magical happiness as a result. Just like sirens in ancient Greek mythology were uh, half bird, half woman, but by the time you got to the medieval, they were mermaids. It's just the travels that some creatures could take, and actually be very interesting and tell you a lot about how society has changed.
Yeah, that's wild. What the? I never even thought of that. How long till that gets a movie? Is there? God damn it! Like they should just throw all the cryptids on the Marvel and DC teams and just sort them out. Like some of them are dope, some of them have sweet powers.
I'd love to see a movie about somebody who thinks they know all the tales because they've watched all the modern stuff, and they find out just how scary a real fairy tale land would actually be. A fairy tale horror movie.
Yeah, most of them are pretty dark, especially like the what is it? Eastern European fairy tales are a little what the fucky, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but Slavic folklore.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, um, Bigfoot updates out of the way. We can crack into a couple of different little, I guess, segments or just like topics that I like to fuck with. I usually throw in like a something that pisses me off topic and a something like that I'm grateful for or looking forward to type of a topic. So kind of to mimic, I guess Peter Griffin's greatness here briefly. It's kind of like a grinding my gears type of a segment. You know what I mean? So I don't know if there's anything in life or just in general that's fucking, grinding your gears or eating you up, but I have a gripe that I'm going to bitch about to the massive void of the internet for a bit. So, I don't know what happened in like just economy in general that made this like weird kind of it's kind of like an outlook like I need to fuck this person over. I need to take all of their money and save and give them as little or as less as possible. Like when did that become like the fucking norm? Like I don't know. It seems like it's a bad business model. Like in the past, it was like, okay, you have a product, and I want that product, and so I go to work and I make some money, and then I come buy your product, and then I'm happy because hey, the product that I wanted or needed, I have now. And then you're happy because someone is purchasing your products, so you're selling them. And then the guy that you wherever you get your resources from to make these products, whether it's wood and nails or pastry dough or whatever it is you got going on, that person's happy. And so now there's like a chain of like happy people who have all participated in this transaction. Whereas like nowadays, the fucking norm seems to be like, fuck you. How can I get you? How can I get this guy for everything he's got? How much can I get out of him before he fucks off? Like, it's a weird fucking kind of business model, and I'm not for it. I don't know why this is like cracking off, but one thing that pisses me off, and this is the irony of how this stupid shit goes down, how greed kind of pisses me off and puts me at odds with things. So there's a product out there, and it's a dog supplement. And my dog's getting up in age, and I noticed that these supplements, when I give them to him, after a month or so, he's acting different. He's like healthier, he's happier, he's got more energy, he's got a shinier coat, a better diet, etc., etc. So it's a product that I like. I go out of my way to get this product that I enjoy from a company that I also like. I enjoy their product. I look them up specifically. So what has happened now is I've bought this product, and then like a month or two later, when I finally run out, I'll when I remember, I log onto their site and I buy some more of their product. And then, cool, product shows up, I use it, I enjoy it, same results, good results, I like the product, I like the company. A third time, bam, I'm in. Let's buy this product. So now, at this point, I have like triggered some fucking kind of AI bullshit going on where now I have to actively tell them not to send me this supplement. They have like automatically signed me up for some sort of like renewal fucking service or something. So it's now like, now I have to go out of my way to tell these fuckers, not to ship me this 60-day supply of supplements every 30 days for some reason. I don't know why they decided that was the time in between shipments. But now it's like they automatically signed me up for this service. And I like this company. And I like this product. But it pisses me off that they didn't ask like any sort of like permission or send me a fucking email or a text or something and be like, hey, you're already in our system. They have my address. I buy their shit all the time. They could send me something through the mail. Like, we want to know if you're into this like subscription service, blah blah blah. It'll even be a free subscription service, for the X, Y, and Z. If they had contacted me about it, there's a good chance that I would have been okay with it and probably got on board. But it's the fact that it's whenever this transaction goes down, it's going to be $50 out of my fucking pocket no matter what happens. And it's like, sometimes, like, I'm a working class middle American, okay? Maybe lower class American, who knows? My money's on that. But as a like working class American, dude, there's times in my life where I don't have fucking $50. Like, if you were to just randomly come hit my account for $50 because I forgot to tell you not to fucking do that this month, like, dude, that's the difference of me, like, being able to throw gas in my truck to get to work or not. Or, that's the difference of me coming home with the necessities, a gallon of milk and some eggs or something, from the store. And now, like, what? Like, I'm not going to be able to do that because of this, like, weird auto pay bullshit that I didn't sign up for. Like, I don't know. It's a terrible business choice to do weird things like that, because this is a company that I like, that sells a product that I like, that I am now having negative interactions with. It's like, dude, why the fuck who decided that should be policy? Like, what is your CEO doing? Because the end result is this. I eventually, hopefully years from now, but still, eventually my dog is going to pass away. And then I'm going to have a surplus of these fucking supplements, and I'm going to have to like cancel or stop this subscription before it comes in. So grief is already hard enough, but now I'm fucking paying $50 every 30 days for a dog that I don't have if I can't opt out of this stupid subscription program. And of course it's never like, oh, click here and we'll get you out. It's like, motherfucker, like, I gotta go check it. I gotta go sign in to one place to verify that I'm not a robot, and then I gotta wait for a code to be texted to me, and then I gotta check a fucking email. Like, dude, they don't make it easy. So it's like, god damn, dude. Like, I don't know. That's my grinding the fucking gears fucking topic of the day. This company that I like, that sells an awesome product, is pissing me off with their weird business shenanigans. And I don't know. The end result is probably going to be me coughing up $50 for a dog that isn't around anymore. Like I said, I like the product, but goddamn, it just, a little bit of agency with my fucking credit card would be nice. Fucking hell.
So I think that's a two-parter because part two is built on part one. So it's not a new thing because you had like the East India Empire Company that monopolized a shitload of trade, and you had who else was it? You know, there's always been that greed. It was just that it was small and localized, or the Opium Wars. British wanted China to trade with them. They wouldn't do it, so they flooded their streets with opium to get them all high in order to force them to open their trade. So it's always been there, but it was a lot harder, smaller. And then you had the introduction and the pushing of corporations. You know, it used to be you had the Carnegies, the Vanderbilts, a rich family, but it was a rich family. Now with corporations, you got a lot of investors coming in, and the only thing they care about is profit. They don't give a damn about your business, just are you making them money? And with current US laws, investors have more protections than consumers and employees do. In fact, an investor can go and sue if a CEO only gets them a 3.2% profit when they could have got a 3.5% profit. And investors, you know, they don't care about the company in and of itself. They just want their money. So it's the creation of corporations and their intensive takeover. You don't shop at the mom and pop store, you go to Walmart. You shop on Amazon because it's cheaper, because they can make it cheaper and drive out the mom and pop stores. And then you have no choice but to pay what they want you to pay and do what you want them to do.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I wonder, I wonder how we wrangle us one of those fucking soulless corporate douchebags. That how do we wrangle one of those guys and get him to like do what we want and make us money? You know what I mean? It's like how do okay, sit down, fucking corporate guy. Listen, we need a movie. Listen, we need a movie about Bigfoot. And it's because he's a cosmic traveler, time controller, super strength, super speed, invisibility at will, psychic power having, pheromone memory manipulation fucking doing type of a fucking guy. And just make that movie and then give me like $1 million, like right now. I don't know.
So there's
I don't
two
know
ways
how it
we could
works.
go about it. There's two ways we could go about it. One, apparently Tubi will show any movie, no matter how horrible it is, and I wonder if they sponsor, so maybe go to Tubi with it.
Oh, fair. You're right.
Or or two, you say that there's some underlying message about being a proper Christian, and you get some of those fundamentalists that make god awful movies and get them to sponsor it.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I've got it in me
Well,
to grift. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like what if I'm too successful and now I have a cult and now I have to like go build a commune in the woods or something? Like I don't know. I don't know if I can handle that kind of pressure, man.
would it be the perfect cult because you wouldn't want anything to do with them. So you have them build a compound and you tell them to keep it safe and protected, and then you dip out of there and return home, and then all those crazies are gone.
It's starting to sound better and better now that you say it out loud.
Yeah, find a volcanic island and tell them that this is where the Bigfoot's home actually is. And when the next time that they come out and speak, it'll be like an eruption, but don't be afraid. It's actually a healing thing to allow you to see the extra dimensional big feet.
So
We just solved a lot of problems there.
exactly, solve so many problems. So
Yeah,
what if
it
like
is
go
that
ahead.
it is just that corporate greed, you know? I mean, as soon as you sign up, like, I had to order a part for my car. I needed a new, the, damn, I can't even think of what it's called, where the spark plugs go into, uh, the overhead part. Anyway, I needed a new one of those. So I go on Parts Geek, because they have one at a decent price. And I'm entering my information, and my phone allows me to quickly enter my credit card because it's saved on there. So I tell it to do that. And it inputs all my information, but you usually get a chance to verify. Well, Parts Geek didn't give me that verification screen. It just put in an old address and called it good. So that used that as my shipping address. And I reached out like right away, like, hey, I don't know what the hell happened. You guys took the wrong address. I didn't submit it. That's not the correct address. I need to get it switched. Nope, can't do it. You've got to reach out to the post office as soon as it's placed because it goes to a drop ship. You're just SOL. And when you get it, maybe drive down there and ask them to give you the part. And it's like, you guys set this whole system up with no way to correct it.
Yeah, that's obnoxious. I had something similar happen to me. I ordered a washing machine from like northern Idaho because it was in like a shipping lane that was gonna ship to me, and they did not fucking ship to me. Not only did these assholes drive through my town, like they used the highway that you brought this machine within a fucking half a mile of my house. And no, they went all the fucking way down to like Idaho Falls, and then nobody fucking called me. Like I had to track it on the like tracker number, and I was like, "Hey, you guys have my shit?" And they're like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was supposed to be delivered like 2 days ago, but it wasn't for some reason. It came here, so I came to see what's up." And yeah, I ended up having to, I could have just bought it from Idaho Falls and picked it up myself originally. But no, I bought this from like some fucking shipping warehouse in northern Idaho, waited like 15 days for it to travel, I don't know, 600 miles or some shit. And then finally fucking had to just go drive down there and pick it up my fucking self, anyways. The paperwork said it had already been delivered. Like, bro, how has it already been delivered? It's sitting in your warehouse right now. You know, like I don't know.
Actually, furniture is kind of the same way. We ordered a couch. And they're like, well, do you want it delivered or do you want to pick it up? Well, if you pick it up, it's free. If you have it delivered, it costs $80. So, well, we'll pick it up. When can we come? Well, we got to have it brought down from Fridley to our showroom, and then you could pick it up. The showroom was in the town I lived in. I'm like, so you have to bring it from there, deliver it here, and you're going to charge me $80 to go 10 miles a little bit out of the way. Yeah, it's pick up here. So I'm like, right then, fuck you, and rented a U-Haul.
Damn. Yeah. See, like that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, when did the model shift from like mutual agreement in exchange for goods and services to how much can I get from this motherfucker? You know what I mean? Like, goddamn. I hate that shift in our current like economy situation. I don't know. I don't know why that's like the corporate model now, but it pisses me off.
I was watching this thing, and it discussed how the change happened pretty much thanks to Reagan. And it was, you got rid of the Fairness Doctrine Act that said that news had to be fair and balanced. So if you said, something Republican, you had to say something Democratic. It's why they still have to show an ad for each during political season and stuff. But by getting rid of that, they allowed there to be channels that didn't have to do that, and that's what gave rise to Fox News. Now, because Fox News was owned by Robert Murdoch, and he's a corporate billionaire, and he wanted him and his cronies to get more money, they started running news segments about how you have to work for what you get. And that's where we are now, you know. Oh, if you work hard enough, you will succeed. If you don't have anything and you're poor, it's because of you and your inability to work. And so then they started sharing news stories about how these corporations were doing all the positive stuff. You know, oh, it's because of companies that you have a 5 day work week, not because of unions. It's because of companies you get sick time, not because of unions. So they really painted the billionaires as being the heroes and successes. And, you know, all you have to do is apply yourself and you could be just like one of them. And don't ignore the fact that typically the rich get richer and the poor stay poorer because of the way the system is set up. No, it's because you're not trying hard enough. And that was definitely preached upon us, which is why there's that thing of millennials that, you know, we feel that stress because everything we do has to show a value for it to be appreciated.
Yeah, I get that, you know. And I think, that's, I don't know, sad but true.
I mean, it shouldn't be that way because the reality is it's not that black and white. You can work as hard as you want, but, you know, when everything costs so much, you know, in the end, macaroni and cheese from Costco is going to be cheaper than buying it individually from Walmart. But you don't always have $20, $30 to drop at one time on that box of macaroni and cheese. You got to pay the extra for the $2 box, and then it just keeps knocking you down.
Yeah, makes sense. Kind of like what I was saying, 50 bucks coming out of my account that I wasn't ready for because they didn't tell me. They didn't send me a text. I didn't. I got an email. And email, while I do use it occasionally, it is not like my primary, like, source of communication. So when I catch an email
Um,
and I'm like, I'm glad I caught that because I might not have for a couple of days. And if I hadn't, then they would have fucking charged me. Like right
oh,
now, it just
I
happened to be
wonder
one
what
of those
the
times. 50 bucks would have put me
I
in the
wonder
negative.
I wonder what the legality is for that because that would seem like shouldn't be able to sign somebody up for a service that they do not opt into
Right.
unless something in their terms and service that you know people don't read and skim through says you know article 4 subsection 3 paragraph 2 sentence 6.9 it says you know if you order 4 times in a row we're going to sign you up for this plan, and then you know you just skim through because it's usually just you can't sue us.
I mean, that's fair. It's possible that that's exactly what happened because I don't remember. I don't actually remember having to sign some weird waiver or agreement to make a purchase online because that would be weird. You know, that would that would be like I don't know.
No,
But I
we
just
used
purchased it, so it might have if that popped up and I was like hell bent on buying this shit, I probably would have like yeah whatever agreed. Even though it's like in the fine print, it's like the ninth circle of hell will claim your left testicle at midnight on Tuesday.
a South Park episode about that where Kyle gets kidnapped and put into a human centipede situation because he didn't want to read the fine print on the Apple product, and so Apple keeps like trying to get him to learn to read and harass him that way.
That sounds terrible.
Good episode though.
Oh yeah, I quite enjoy some South Park myself. Um, so I'm gonna segue for a second. Some one of the topics that I kind of wanted to talk about, kind of near and dear to my heart, but not everyone's, and I get that. But yeah, so I don't know what it is if it's just like my algorithm on fucking social media lately, but it's like I don't know. It's showing me a lot of like negative like statistics and people who are just kind of outspoken against pit bulls, and I'm like, But why, bro? Like, I personally have had a pit bull for the last 10 years. He's the dog that I'm getting all these fucking supplements for, and he's awesome. He's been an incredible dog and a wonderful companion. And despite him being attacked multiple times by a variety of asshole dogs that are less trained than he is, not no aggression. You know, I've seen a drunk fucking human take a swat at him, and other dogs chomp on him, and he just like doesn't. I mean, react. Not in the aggressive manner you would think a pit bull would. You know what I mean? So he's kind of a big old bitch, to be honest. I love him to death. He's my big old land seal, but I don't know. It would appear after doing a bit of research that I guess I I see why people are kind of bully breed haters, but at the same time, like I have a great bully breed that I love tons and tons and tons. He's my little buddy. We go everywhere together, and he does not exhibit some of these like aggressive tendencies. You know, he's a mixed breed, so maybe it toned it down a little bit. But you know, do you have any dogs? Are you a dog person or a cat person?
I do not own any dogs, mostly because I rent, and most places nowadays won't allow you pets if you're renting. That way, they can even more quickly turn around the unit. But I've had dogs, cats. I love them all. When I was a kid, I had a dog that was half Rhodesian Ridgeback, half Red Bone Hound, and it was a big tough son of a bitch. In fact, we came home one day and he was an outdoor dog. We had kept him in the backyard and he was in the house. And the window separating our house from the backyard was smashed in and he had blood all over him. And we're like, dude, what the hell scared you so much that you jumped in through a window to get inside? And cleaned them all off and he had no scratches on him. I think somebody tried breaking into our house and they found out that Rhodesian Ridgebacks were used in Africa to hunt lions for a reason. But uh, the thing with those bully breed haters is they're just haters. There is no valid reason to hate on the dog. They're not more aggressive than any other dog. No study has ever proven a more aggressiveness from them. In fact, honestly, even if you talk to vets, more aggressive than your pit bulls, boxers, terriers is going to be the fucking chihuahua and dachshunds. But the difference is that, they're small. So if they come up and they start biting you, it's more likely to piss you off before you pick them up and kick them across the yard. If a pit bull or such starts biting on you, that's going to do a lot more damage and you might not get out of that. So for people, it's that fear, and they look big and tough. They're strong-looking dogs. They're not poodle-looking. Uh, but I think one thing that, because I read a little bit about it after you told me about the topic, one source was saying that they're very loyal and they're very obedient. And because of that, and because of that just natural toughness, especially look, it was easy for them to be manipulated into being fighting dogs. So then people would use them for dog fights. So they were made to be aggressive, and that's the only that's the only way people saw them was in the dog fights, where they would be more aggressive because it's literally kill or be killed. And they just took that and they extrapolated that to every version of that dog. Oh, I've seen them. They're so mean and vicious. Well, you might have saw a fighting dog that was mean and vicious because it was beat to hell and tortured to be mean and vicious. Um, and while it's not for most people, I also think there's a little bit of racism uh, at a base level for them because they're loyal and they're tough. So when you didn't have a weapon to defend your home because Either you had young kids or you weren't home. A gun's not going to work if you're not there. You would want a dog to be a guard dog. And pit bulls make excellent guard dogs. Same thing that happened with the Doberman Pinscher and the Rottweiler. And so they became predominant in more urban neighborhoods. So you would see more black communities having them as pets because, hey, they keep my stuff in my house because I know I get robbed if I don't have some sort of protection. And then so you take that, you associate it with the dog fighting from other tales, and information spreads, and everybody knows. Same way when we were kids, everybody knew Tommy Hilfiger went on Oprah and said black people shouldn't buy my clothes, or Marilyn Manson had 3 ribs removed so he could suck his own dick. Everybody knew that for a fact pre big internet. So they just took that, extrapolated it, and then people would just read and hear the aggressiveness and not hearing the other parts and just repeat what they heard versus actually looking into it.
Yeah, that was the glory of like the pre-internet days. Like when nobody could Google shit, everybody was like some kind of special genius, bro.
And my cousin told me he heard from his friend who got it from his uncle who had a homie that was there.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I did, like you, kind of like you did, just kind of. I dipped into some research, and after looking at some of the numbers here, I can see why the statistics on pit bulls would be something that dissuades people from, wanting to get them as dogs. But I also kind of agree that they kind of get a bad rap from the get go, and that there is a little bit of this weird, like it's like a weird dog racism for whatever reason. Like pit bulls are typically known to be an aggressive breed of dog, but they're one of many, many, many aggressive breeds of dogs that don't get near this kind of a rap. But anyway, I picked up. I just wanted to learn. I don't know if I guess I'm pre-biased because I have a pit bull that for like 10 years that I love, who's a big old softie. But so a couple of things that I picked up. The term pit bull is not, obviously, it's not actually a single official breed, but it's an umbrella term covering several bully type breeds like the American Pit Bull Terrier, the American Staffordshire Terrier, the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, and then like the more recent American Bully. So many dog breeds under this umbrella term, not just one. Bully breeds globally represent over 20 distinct dog breeds. So it's not just like one type of fucking dog. So when it is several breeds of dog that are all kind of like reported on, we'll go over this here in a little bit, but when several breeds of dog are lumped into one kind of a breed, it gets
Statistics get skewed.
yeah, the statistics get a little fuzzy. So one thing that I looked up was the fatality rates from dog attacks in America, and that concluded that 60 to 67%, so a good portion of them, of the incidents that involve dog attacks and death, 60 to 67% do involve some form of pit bull, apparently. So that's kind of not great. And then I kind of went down that rabbit hole even further and looked into trauma severity. Why are pit bulls like dangerous? Like what makes them able to, I guess, take a human life? You know what I mean? Not necessarily temperament wise, like physically. What is it? So and it comes down to trauma severity from a pit bull attack. Statistics from dog attacks show that you are 3 times more likely to rupture or to not rupture, to require surgical attention if attacked by a bully breed due to their kind of attack style. due to the genetic lineage being used in bait and catch type of hunting style, as well as like fighting rings and stuff. They are more likely to do the hold and shake rather than the snap and release, and this tends to inflict deeper tissue damage, crushing injuries, and sometimes causes lacerations that lead to severe blood loss. So I'm looking at all these stats of like these like how hardcore these pit bulls tend to be, and I'm looking at this big old fluff ball on my floor thumping his tail, farting. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I don't think they got the right guy. You know what I mean? But anyway, I continue to fucking go down these rabbit holes, and so apparently there are 800 to 885,000 dog attacks happen in America every year. Now, about 12,000 of those, so not a very high percentage. You're between 8 and 900,000. And only 12,000 of those require overnight stays at a hospital. And the big whopper of a number, 50. On average, 50 people die from dog attacks each year. So we're not talking about thousands. We're not talking about tens of thousands. We're talking about 50. And even in spike years, it seems, it rarely breaks 100. So that being said, I mean, what is that? Like 60%, 65% of 50? What is that, like 35, 40-ish, 40 something, 40 and some change? I don't know. But I don't know. That just seems like not a whole hell of a lot. If it's less than 100 people a year from dog attacks, I mean, I was expecting like just the way these other numbers were jumping out and the drama that the websites that I was kind of seeking these numbers out on were like given to me. You know what I mean? It's like bum bum bum, and it's actually not a whole hell of a lot of people, but still, 50 people a year is no fucking joke, I guess. But so as I'm going through all these statistics and I'm fucking diving through everything I can, I come across something so according to the AVMA, or the American Veterinary Medical Association, and others, there's a couple other organizations, they don't find pit bulls to be disproportionately more dangerous than other known to be aggressive dog breeds when accounting for external variables. Their arguments kind of include the following: the umbrella label fallacy, population dynamics, and owner and environmental variables. So we're going to go through what all of those are. Feel free to jump in or stop me at any time, Chris, if you have a question or you want to throw a comment in. So the umbrella label fallacy is when things like a news report that involves a pit bull and it refers to it as like a single breed, kind of like what I was talking about earlier. When in reality, there are dozens of purebred and visual mixes. A lot of the time, this leads to like a misidentification of said dog. Misidentification also tends to occur a lot when unknown mixed breed dogs bite someone and they get mistaken for like a pit bull mix of some kind. Several different states' studies show. Damn, that was hard. These factors tend to inflate the breed statistics here, just because of I mean, it kind of makes sense. But also something that they talk about is population dynamics. So, to accurately measure danger, you need to calculate bite rate relative to their population. So again, we are kind of getting inflated and accurate numbers due to the popularity of the breed. Pitbull type dogs and their mixes make up roughly 20% of the dogs in the whole country. So that's roughly 1 out of every 5 dogs in America is either a pit or pit mix of some kind, or has pit lineage, whether it was a grandparent or a great grandparent. There's some sort of pit bull in the family line. And so 20% of the dogs in the country, that's 1 out of every 5 dogs. So that them being dramatically more popular would also lead to, again, inflated statistics. The reasons why why pit bulls are outbiting other aggressive breeds of dog is because there are literally millions more pit bulls in the population, so than other creatures, other dogs. So I mean, that's kind of another thing that kind of skews these stats. And I'm like, well, one thing that was frustrating doing all this research was like getting unskewed stats was difficult on both sides. Pro and anti Pitbull were like, okay, these are rough estimates, or this is not accurate because of X, Y, and Z. So it's like, it's actually hard to get solid data on stuff like this, which is why it made me go down 100 fucking rabbit holes. You know what I mean? Also, so it's 1 out of every 5 dogs is a pit or a pit mix of some kind. It's one of the biggest pieces of the pie of dog breeds in America. And again, it's because it's not just one breed. It is several breeds are falling into just this general like pit bull kind of umbrella term. And
Yeah,
finally,
people
go
don't
ahead.
know the difference.
Exactly. And other breeds of dogs get mistaken for pit bulls all the time, especially like dogs like boxers. It's another kind of,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, I mean, I get it. There's weird shaped head, but one of the other things that they kind of argued for on behalf of pit bullness, I guess, is owner and environmental variables. Studies tracking severe dog attacks consistently find that dog breed is a poor indicator of aggression compared to the owner's behavior. Factors like keeping them chained up, keeping them isolated, failure to spay or neuter, abuse, neglect, lack of containment, all are primary drives of dog attacks, regardless of breed. So, yeah, that's just kind of
Is
like. Go ahead.
in the nature versus nurture debate, I've always been nature over nurture, or nurture over nature. There are certain realities genetically that will have an impact, but by and large, the outside factors are going to definitely play a much bigger role than something genetic. I was 12 and I went over to a friend's house and they had a Dalmatian. Now, every source would have you believe Dalmatians are the greatest dogs ever. They're fireman's best friend. Why would they not be all friendly and joyful? And this dog ended up jumping on me and took a big bite out of my tit. It hurt like hell.
Ouch.
Meanwhile, my dad, when he worked as a truck driver, they had a Rottweiler uh, to guard the trucks in the yard when they were gone, and every once in a while he'd bring it home. And this was the biggest damn puppy you ever saw, just sit there and give kisses and just want scritches and hugs and everything else. Meanwhile, in the 90s, Rottweilers had the same reputation Pitbulls do.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. I know a guy up here who ran the one of the local like animal shelters for 4 or 5 years. Excuse me. And he said that both the most loveliest, tamest, most gentle, kind spirited dog he ever encountered in his time up there was a pit bull. And he also said the orneriest, meanest, most wanna bite you motherfucker was also a pit bull. So it came in like both sides of the spectrum from him,
It's like kids. Some days you love them, some days you wonder if adoption is still an option on the table.
Fair. So I want to read a little blurb from social media from I'm not going to name her, I'm not going to shout her out, but it's a dog trainer, and she was kind of coming under fire for just being pretty shitty on the pit bull breed. So she kind of came out. This was her statement, but I kind of get where she's coming from. At a certain point, there are fucking some not great statistics out there. However, it didn't take me long to realize that most of the statistics are inaccurate. Even by most people who will give you the statistics standards, like, hey, this is not exactly mathed out correctly. There's variables. Anyways, so this particular dog trainer She kind of says, "We are absolutely not Pitbull haters by any means, but pretending breeds that were bred specifically for aggressive traits that make them suitable for dogfighting, protection, bite sports, hunting, etc., aren't any more inherently dangerous than those bred for companionship is doing a huge disservice to those dogs." Which I kind of get. She continues, "People who are told otherwise are often sympathetic to those kinds of dogs because of the stigma they face and end up getting one, not realizing or not being fully equipped to manage, train, and control their dog safely or effectively, and often horrible tragedies result." Well, we cracked through the numbers. I don't know about often horrible tragedies, but I mean a few. Like a few. Not often. Actually, pretty rare. But you simply can't, she continues, you simply can't ignore the fact that some breeds are genetically predisposed to some things, and to do so is irresponsible and dangerous. And I get where she's coming from. As even though I'm pro Pitbull, like I understand that kind of point of view, but at the same time, I mean, she's not entirely wrong. There are, some dogs just suck. Some people just suck. You know what I mean? But I broke it down earlier today. So the exact number of pit bulls kind of varies, but there's like a low end and then there's a high end. But I kind of shot for the middle ground, figuring that these probably once again inflated and skewed numbers. But even shooting for like the middle ground, they say, judging by all of the statistics that we do have that are not skewed, medical records, the medical or police reports of dog attacks, etc. We have those numbers. So when you crunch those numbers with the millions of pit bulls in America, it comes down to bum bum bum. Somewhere between on the low end, it's about 3% of pit bulls are exhibit these aggressive traits that need to be managed, or they could actually hurt someone. They are not recommended for families with like small children or etc. type of situation, or other dogs or cats, etc. Just generally not a friendly type of a dog. On the low end, you're looking at 3%, and on the high end, you're only looking at like 9.5%. So we'll round it up and even say 10%. So that means out of like every 100 dogs, every 100 Pitbull or Pitbull mixes, somewhere between 3 and 10 of them are going to be a little bit more aggressive than the others. Perhaps exhibit traits that you don't really care for. But really, when you're looking at when you flip it the other way around, that's 90 to 97 purebred good boys right there. You know what I mean? So it's like, it seems obnoxious or not obnoxious, ignorant, maybe ill-informed to like I know a lot of people who are not big fans of bully breeds, and that's fine. I get it. But it just seems like when you actually do a little bit of diving into the rabbit holes, it seems like not only the stats are skewed, but the solid stats really aren't that bad. You're looking at, like I said, an average of 50 deaths per year. I mean, fuck. Well, cows kill more people than that, right?
I would say when it comes to the number of how many pit bulls, the 3 to 10%, that number, I would say, is irrelevant unless we have numbers for other dogs. Is it a standard? Are there plenty of dogs that fall in that 3 to 10%? Are there dogs that fall into a higher range that are more scary? Or is that 10 high? Because I could take that 3 to 10 and I could, make it very scary. Okay, I'll give you a bowl with 100 M&Ms. 10 of them could kill you. Which one are you going to eat? Safest thing is to just not have one. Therefore, carry it over. But if it doesn't matter the type of dog and they're all falling into that same general 3 to 10%, then it's no different than another. You could just make it sound bad by excluding every other sub. Like I said, I think, and hearing anecdotally from, mailmen and uh, like meter readers, the worst dogs they've ever had to deal with are small ones, especially wiener dogs and stuff, because they're small. The owners don't take them seriously. So they just kind of, oh, he's friendly, and they don't train them like you do bigger dogs. So they're more likely to get attacked. Now, granted, it's not going to do as much damage, but that's still getting bitten. That's still your dog attacking somebody with a lot more regularity than a pit does. And, I completely disagree with her about the genetics. It's the same thing they used back in the days for racism. Just genetically, blacks were more likely to be criminals or lazy or whatever else. It's just fitting a stereotype when there's no actual evidence. It's not like a blue eye thing. I don't think they've found the genetic code to say, hey, this is the chromosome that makes them more vicious. It's just training, upbringing, and how you treat them. That's why you can have one that's the biggest, lovable pup ever. But if you train them to not be more docile, to be more aggressive because you want them as a guard dog, then yeah, they're going to be more vicious to somebody they don't know. That's what they were trained to do. And about dog attacks, somebody in my extended family had they had a black lab for hunting, and you would argue that those are great family dogs. Well, when the wife had a baby, the dog ended up deciding to play with the baby and bit down across the face and dragged him out into the yard. So,
Holy fuck.
yeah, and that's a black lab. It's a dog that people tell you, oh, they're friendly. You don't have to worry about them. They're great with children. Well, this family member would disagree with you, but you wouldn't find the same hate that you would for a bully breed. They would just automatically jump to, well, yeah, that's because I had one of those dogs, rather than it's a dog, it's going to do dog things.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, so I don't know. Like I said, I'm like pro Pitbull, but like I kind of see the what do they call that, Iron Manning, when you kind of put yourself in the other person's point of view. Like I can see how they come to the conclusion that they have come to. It makes sense, like statistically, but I just don't see it being entirely truthful or warranted. Like you said, other dogs got to be falling into that 3 to 10% aggressive traits category. It can't just be the bully breeds. That's kind of ridiculous. But one thing I wanted to read real quick was another kind of tidbit I snagged off of um, socials, but it's the same situation, but it's going in the opposite way. It was kind of like a back and forth between the dog trainer lady who I just kind of quoted and somebody else. So this somebody else who I'm also not going to name. Raw bite and fatality statistics can paint a misleading picture when taken at face value, because they ignore the powerful role an owner's environment, resources, and training practices play in a dog's behavior. Large breeds, like Pitbull type dogs and Rottweilers, are frequently kept in lower income areas where owners may face financial barriers to spaying and neutering, professional behavioral training, and even secure physical fencing. Furthermore, dogs in these environments are more likely to be acquired for property protection rather than raised as socialized family pets, creating living conditions that significantly increase the likelihood of territorial aggression regardless of breed. So it is kind of like what you were saying before, when the poor neighborhoods started acquiring pit bulls because they make sure all my shit stays here. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So he continues, because of these socioeconomic factors heavily influence both how a dog is managed and the likelihood of severe bite incidents. Any analysis that looks strictly at breed counts is fundamentally incomplete without directly controlling for income, education, owner care, neutering, professional behavior trading, and also the secure physical fencing. So I don't know.
I don't remember commenting on that post.
Right. So let's see here. He continues. He goes on for a little bit, but I'm not going to read the whole damn thing. But he basically goes into like that there's socio-economical factors that influence both how the dog is managed and the likelihood of severe bite incidents. Analysis kind of looks at various, I don't know, like I said before, not having a fence. I don't know. They said that it was easier to predict aggression by the owner rather than the dog's breed, like the owner's actions rather than the dog's breed. Anyway, he kind of goes on for a little while, but I got the point across, I think. But yeah, so I don't know. I see both sides of the aisle, and I'm still pro Pitbull. My Pitbull's been a badass, loving kind of dude. Pretty much for the last decade. He's been a tight little buddy, and he's proven in several scenarios to not be aggressive. Like, even if I wanted him to. I think one time in all of this decade of hanging out with this dog, I watched him haul ass across the yard to get to a cat, which smoked him. The cat was gone. It was not even close to getting close to that cat. But we've had like a house cat. Asia has a house cat, and her mom comes to visit and brings her cat, and he's totally fine with them. In fact, he grew up with them, and he fears them. It's funny, like when the cat's in the doorway, the dog will not cross the threshold. He like stands on the other side and just like stares at the cat, like he's afraid of it. So I don't know. It's kind of funny, but yeah. So I don't know. I'm definitely pro bully breed. I mean, I haven't had them all, so. Again, umbrella term. The pit bull that I've been stuck with for the last decade, fucking awesome dog. Intelligent, tricks, fucking, just a great loyal companion, like they said before. So, on a more
I don't see an issue.
Say what?
So, like I said, I don't see an issue. I think it just comes down to ignorance, and then people doubling down instead of actually taking new information into consideration.
Yeah, fair. I think so too. So to kind of roll it out on like a lighter note on the as we kind of wrap up the Pitbull segment of this whole conversation, I got like a kind of a little fun list of like it's not stats but factoids, I guess, about pit bulls. First of all, I got to break the big one for everybody. The nanny dog situation was actually a myth. I know a lot of pit bull owners or pit bull advocates will point to like the nanny dog situation. Like that was not really a common practice down south. There was like what I could find was like there was a rich white plantation owner or two who took exceptionally good care of their canine companions, including training and whatnot. And there was like a pit bull or two with this like exceptional awareness, or just like, I mean, it's a 1 in a million. This is not a trait that is bred into these dogs. You know what I mean? But there was like a story or two of wealthy, rich plantation owners training their dogs specifically to herd and protect children. And like a weird side note on that, apparently the for whatever reason the part of this training they believed that these larger dogs, these pit bulls, bully breeds rather, regarded small humans as like a separate species rather than regular humans. Like it was kind of weird. I don't know. But anyway, it's not, the nanny dog myth is in fact a myth. It was like one or two very well trained dogs. It wasn't like a whole stream of everybody just leaving their children with pit bulls. That's kind of funny to think about though. Like, yeah, he'll be fine. Oh, giant murder dog? Yeah, he's probably fine. It's probably fine.
It's okay, honey. We could go out tonight. I picked this stray off the street, but it's a pit bull, so it'll be fine.
Exactly. That's fucking super wise. Super wise. So anyway, I'll run through some of these. It'll be pretty quick. Number one, no lockjaw. Pit bulls do not have a biological mechanism to lock their jaws. This is a physical myth. They are just physically strong. That's that. Not a single breed. Obviously, we talked about that already. Pit bull is an umbrella term that covers, Pit Bull Terriers, Staffordshire Terriers, American Pit Bull Terriers, Staffordshire Bull Terriers, which all is like the same words in different fucking orders, but apparently that's a different breed of dog every time. So that's fucking different. High temperament scores. They routinely score above an 85% on temperament tests, outscoring many popular family breeds like Golden Retrievers and Beagles. So there's that. A pit bull named Sergeant Stubby was decorated as a war hero and the most decorated dog of World War One. Sergeant Stubby, I looked into this tale once. I actually forget the details, but I'm pretty sure Sergeant Stubby retired with like 3 legs in the end. He only had 3 legs by the end of the war, but he retired a happy ass dog with medals and stuff. I think he got like taxidermied. I think Sergeant Stubby is somewhere in some museum, so that's kind of interesting, I guess. Kind of dark, but another thing about pit bulls, they do not have the top bite force. So weird. Everybody's like, oh, this is super dangerous dog. Scientific tests show their bite force is surpassed by other large breeds like German Shepherds and Rottweilers. Another fun little tidbit, too friendly for guarding. Historically, they were rarely used as guard dogs because they are naturally very friendly towards humans. Like, what? Come on, dude. Like, another one, misidentification. We kind of went over that. Shelter workers and vets frequently misidentify mixed breeds dogs as pit bulls based on appearance alone. So, not true. Boxer mix probably has that weird head. We kind of talked on that earlier. Therapy and rescue. Many well-trained pit bulls work successfully as search and rescue, bomb detection, and therapy dogs. So that's kind of weird. It'd be cool to see a little, like, little fat little pit bull to, that would put a smile on my face. I'd be happy with that. Little tiny land seal kind of scooches in under your feet. So moving on, this is almost done with my little list here. Pop culture icons. Famous early media pets included Petey from the Little Rascals and Nipper, the RCA dog. I remember Petey from the Little Rascals. He was a pity. He was hanging out with those kids all the time. And finally,
if you tell me that he's vicious, I'm gonna call you a liar.
Right. And finally, eager to please. They're high energy, intelligent dogs that respond well to consistent training and structure. Which is pretty true with most dogs. Really, it's like any dog particularly, but they have British origins. Originally the pit bull was bred in like the 1800s in Britain. They came from crossing like old English bulldogs with like various terriers. That's kind of how they how they came about. Farm workers, when they were brought to America by immigrants, they shifted from like fighting rings to farms. They were relied on for like herding livestock, hunting wild hogs, and guarding property, but not so much the guarding property, I guess, from the other factoid. Funny fact though, we raised my pity around our chickens, and he just could not fucking care less. He does not care about chicken. He doesn't chase them. He's not into them or anything. But if I need them fuckers to go in their coop, I let him out, and he's like, he might go into their pen and like pee on something or maybe sniff a butt. But if I let him into their pen, all it takes is one lap. He's like casually strolling, bored and uninterested, and one lap around their fucking their run. Every single one of those motherfuckers goes back in the coop. So I'm kind of using mine for herding now, but just ornery ass chickens.
Just sheepdog.
Yeah, hell yeah. And moving on. Teddy Roosevelt had a pet. Owned an American Pitbull Terrier named Pete, and he lived with him in the White House, one of the more prominent early presidential dogs. There was Sally Ann was a Civil War mascot for the 11th Pennsylvania Volunteer Infantry. She guarded wounded soldiers at the Battle of Gettysburg and has a monument there now. Some of their physical capabilities that I thought were cool. Some of these bully breeds are known as wall climbers. Due to their massive hindquarter strength and agility, some pit bulls can climb vertical walls. They are known to scale barriers over 12 feet tall in athletic competitions. Like, whoa, okay, that's nice.
Yeah, that's the dog you can't escape from.
Exactly. Good cop dog, probably. Wrinkled puppies. Their puppies are born with heavily wrinkled foreheads, but unlike breeds like the Shar-Pei, pit bulls actually grow out of these wrinkles as their skulls mature. And also, they're weight pulling champions. I didn't know this was a thing. Pit bulls possess an exceptional strength to weight ratio. They routinely excel in the canine sport of weight pulling, often moving thousands of pounds on wheeled carts. I don't know if I've ever seen or even fucking heard of weight pulling as like a canine sport. But I mean, go figure. The pit bulls look fucking ripped, especially when they're young, you know?
Yeah, I can see it.
And finally, they are sensitive to cold because they have very short coats and usually single layers of fur. They don't tolerate freezing weather well. They require jackets or indoor heating in winter climates. And also, there was as far as like celebrities go, there was a Pitbull band in the early 2000s. The American grindcore band named Caninus featured two rescue pit bulls, Budgie and Basil, and they were the lead vocalists. The tracks featured over their real barks and growls were kind of layered over the music. So interesting. So that's all I got on pitties. That's it. That's this segment. That's I went on a deep dive. I learned some shit, and it all started because some people were being assholes. It was online. Like how I look at my dog and I'm like, how is this a ferocious animal? This fucker wouldn't do shit right now. This fucker would sell me for a fucking slice of pepperoni, dude. I don't know.
Don't hate the puppers.
Oh, I love him. He's the best. So, getting out of that headspace. No more dog talk for now. Maybe later. We'll see. Who knows? Getting out of that particular headspace. As I kind of like cruise around on the internet or fuck around and do silly shit, I find dumb things that make me laugh, and I listen to a lot of podcasts, and this seems to be like a reoccurring theme on a lot of like various segments or shows or whatever. So, fuck it, why not? We're gonna go down this road. This week in crime and criminals, there's some pretty fucking slick folks out there, and I gotta talk about them. First off, I gotta give the tip of the hat and like some kudos to what is being called the shrub stakeout. A New Jersey cop catches 70 while disguised as shrubbery. and what he caught, as many tickets as he gave out. So he was obviously, cop is disguised as a shrub, and he's got some sort of surveillance equipment. And he posted up at like a local intersection somewhere and caught 70 different people violating the New Jersey state don't text and drive law, and got 70 tickets out there for people driving like assholes while texting on their phone. I wish there were more of you out there, sneaky New Jersey shrubbery guy. That's God damn it! Like so many asshole drivers in my life. Fuck. Just write everyone tickets. If everyone got a ticket, maybe they'd stop driving like cunts. But I doubt it.
No, they wouldn't. They'll just excuse it. Oh, it's not me, it's the other people. But after you said dressed as a shrubbery, all I could do was keep going back to Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail, the Knights of Ni. You'll bring us a shrubbery.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel you on that. Okay, so aside from that kind of cool little tidbit, cops doing good work out there. I'm going to talk about some criminals. The tablecloth bandit, okay? This guy. A suspect was arrested for a string of car break ins, and when he was arrested, he was wearing glasses, blue slippers, and a beige tablecloth around his waist. Like no clothes. The dude had some sunglasses, some slippers, and stole a fucking tablecloth? Like, where do you even find a tablecloth? Like, the last time I was in, like, Denny's or Waffle House, I don't think there was a fucking tablecloth. Where do you even get those? It's got to be, like, some custom private diner. And how the fuck do you pull that off without getting the cops called? Like, I'm just going to take... Do you pull, like, the magic trick where you, like, rip the fucking, the tablecloth out and, like, all of the wine glasses and plates full of food don't fucking shift anywhere or something? Like, it confuses me.
Dollar General.
Or yeah, can you just buy it? And he just walks into Dollar General butt ass naked, like, I need this, and then leaves. Dollar General employees are like, you know what? I deal with enough fucking crackheads. Like, I'm not even trying. Fuck that.
Or even better, it turns out he has a wife and she bought it for their kid's birthday party. He just snapped and fucking snatched it and said, you know what, I got better use for this.
Covering my ass while I go steal change and cigarettes out of people's glove boxes or whatever.
I mean, talking about stupid ones, there was an article June 16th. Florida man found with 34 open White Claw cans on passenger seat during a traffic stop.
34 open? Nice.
I don't know if they were all drank the same day, but like, if you're going to drive and drink, at least have the decency to hide your evidence after you get out of the car. Just, oh, I gotta stop for gas and piss. I'll just get rid of this 12-pack here.
Right? I mean, there was a time in my life where I was a bit of a booze hound, and like there might have been a crushed pack of 12-pack of beers like on the floor of my car for several days, maybe weeks at a time, but it wasn't like I was drinking and driving. It was usually the opposite. Like, I'd go camping or something and then just throw that shit in my car and move on. Just not even, I never get in the back seat. What the fuck do I need to go back? I don't know. I have a different thought process in my 20s,
Yeah.
Another criminal that shit fucking cracked me the fuck up. So they call him the caller ID genius. So a man called an FBI office to issue a 30-minute death threat, completely forgetting about caller ID, which led straight to his home and quick arrest. So yeah, not only did he call the FBI, literally, they're the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You could have masked that phone call somehow, bounced it off a satellite, and they still might have fucking found out where you were. But this fucking guy doesn't even, like, what is that, like star 69, star 67, something like that? Isn't that like...
Star 67, yeah. Star 69, no. Star 87, I think. And star 69 was to call back the last number, and it was like star 87, I think, to block your number. Which I don't even know if that works anymore.
I don't either.
But that reminds me of what is his name? Dennis Radler, the BTK killer. You know, huge in the 80s, 90s, never got caught. Decides to start back up in the 2000s, and the first one of the first things he does is send a flash drive with evidence on there, not realizing he didn't completely wipe it because he doesn't understand technology and got caught quickly.
Oh yeah, you know you gotta love it. um, yeah, fucking. I don't know. That's just the balls on somebody. Like, what world do you live in where you can call and threaten the FBI and think you're gonna get away with it at all? But also, a 30-minute threat. Like, how much do you hate these motherfuckers? Like, did you write a manifesto?
Oh,
Like, Jesus, like 30 minutes. Like, I can only tell somebody to go fuck themselves for about 5 minutes, and I'm out of breath. So I don't know. I don't know what this fucking guy. Did he write some fucking
I mean,
hate speech or something?
telling off the government for 30 minutes seems very achievable,
Okay,
especially the
fair. When you put it like
FBI.
that, yeah, yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I could see a good 30-minute rant going of just fuck you, fuck yourselves, go die. But they're also probably already recording your phone call, so you could have just opened up his phone and started saying it. Would have got the same effect.
I mean, yeah. At some point, it's like I mean, they're the FBI, so like, I mean, yeah, one good death threat, and then like, yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was funny that just I don't know what if he was actually planning on carrying out. The details were quite sparse. I guess we'll have to wait for the court case to come out, but I just thought it was funny. Like, dude, clearly not in a right state of mind. Dude's lost his fucking mind. You know, if they weren't following you before and tapping your phone before, they fucking are now.
Oh, yeah, I mean, they'll go after Comey for posting on Instagram that seashell 8647, or go talk to Eminem after one of his songs. Yeah, they're gonna pick your ass up too, especially being a nobody.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. I just thought it was funny. Fucking didn't even try to. You know, they found him by just following his caller ID. That's fucking hilarious. Um, Another one oh, this one's good. This one also happens in Florida. You know, fun, go figure. Most of the funny shit happens in Florida. Creative excuses. A Florida woman tried to shield her backside during a search and later claimed the cocaine found there must have come from a recent intimate encounter. So she essentially
Yep,
was
man.
like, "This last guy that I fucked stuck a balloon of coke in my ass, and I didn't know it was there. We were just fucking. I know. I shouldn't fuck these shady dudes, but I'm just real attracted to those sleazy. You know, you don't know if it's a thumb or a fucking balloon full of coke in your ass mid fuck. You know."
He told me it was a butt plug. I swear.
Yeah, I just thought that was a little off. That was a little out there. Creative use of your time and energy, I guess. But yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know how far that one went with the cops. I'm guessing not great because it got reported that she was arrested. So
now I wonder if that is a thing. A hollowed out butt plug where you can hide something in there. Because then if you get searched, they just think it's a kink, but you're carrying.
yeah, I don't know. I bet if you put your mind to it, you could probably figure it out. Yeah, but also I like the concept of just like, what if you just doing your thing, you're just going through your daily life, and you take a shit, and you look back and go maybe post wipe or go to flush, and you just happen to notice one way or the other, is there a you know bright blue sparkly balloon in my shit? Like, oh, how, How did somebody put some cocaine in my ass? And I was just walking around here, like living my fucking life. I didn't know somebody slipped a fucking gram of blow in my booty. I don't know. I just like, I'm just trying to, I guess I'm giving it a generous read. Like, how do you accidentally keister a handful of coke? I don't know.
What if she was one of those druggies and, who pimps herself out and some guy is hitting her from the back and he just sees the rubber tip of a balloon sticking out back at him? Or he's down there, uh, providing cunnilingus and she farts at the same time as the balloon pops and you just get that blown straight into your face. An involuntary high.
Kills him with like a fentanyl fart. Now she's a murderer. Like, I don't know. One guy put a balloon of fentanyl in my ass, and the other guy fucking died. I wasn't a part of this. They did not have my consent. I was just trying to sell a beeger for $20.
Oh, it never changed Florida.
I know. Florida's the most fucked up great place ever. So I only have one more little funny little criminal thing that caught my eye, but it's worth mentioning. A driver accidentally sent methamphetamine through a bank's pneumatic drive-through tube, leaving a confused teller to flag the bizarre deposit. I mean, how high are you that you go through the fucking, like, what are you thinking at that point when you like pull up to, like, dude, I need some money, bro, I gotta go buy some more meth, and you pull up and you look at this fucking tube and you're like, bro, that is a giant meth pipe, and you just stash your meth in there, or what? Like, what is the thought process? I am not sure.
I'm guessing he had it in like his wallet and he was pulling out money and he just accidentally tucked it in. My question is, did he go back in and ask for it? Excuse me, I sent something through. Can you not ask what it is and just give it back to me?
Yeah, the story didn't go into a lot of detail, but she definitely flagged it for the police, who showed up and escorted the individual down to lockup. So it was just fun. I just imagine the fucking the look on the teller's face. Like, she's like, "Hey, what can I do for you?" He's just like, "Oh, I need to deposit this real quick, thank you, into checking if you don't mind." Yeah, and she's like, "Okay, yeah, sure." She pushes the button and looks over, and it's just like a fucking sandwich bag full of crystal meth. Like, she's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's about $45,000 on the street. So if you could just handle that for me." I
Well,
don't know.
that that does remind me of a true to life story where I used to work as a lot attendant at a car dealership down in Arizona. In the service department. So you bring in your car and we'd park it, take it into the mechanics, go wash it afterwards, and bring it back up. And one of the guys that ended up getting hired uh, said he was a Rastafarian and he always wore this dirty, dingy pouch around his neck. Oh, it's where I keep my driver's license and stuff. Well, he test drove a customer's car and somehow took off his pouch and left it in the car. And the customer picked it up and took it home. And she saw this strange bag and wondered what it was, so she looked inside of it, found his driver's license, and a bag of crack. And her son happened to be a police officer. So she calls up her son. They come back. This guy doesn't know that this dude's a cop, and then he just walks up and says, "Yeah, found this in my mom's car. Is it yours?" And his stupid ass said yes. So they have the driver's license, his admission that the bag is his. And we were short staffed that very day.
I bet that's a bummer. I don't have any really good like true crime stories. I was a pretty good kid. I mean, I partied a little bit in high school. I'd sneak off and smoke weed or try to make it to the local kegger with all the other kids. But I don't know. I didn't really have I had pretty much just good encounters with the cops. One time, I got pulled over. This is some bullshit. I was following a girl because I didn't know where the party was. We were absolutely going to a party. I was following this girl that I was into because she was leading me there. But she's in her car. I'm in my car, and she's fucking cooking, dude, down these country roads. I'm just trying to keep up. Well, fucking, I'm the one behind us when the cops whoop whoop whoop. So like, fuck. Okay, I'm screwed. I didn't. They didn't give me a ticket, but they did ask me to get out of the car and let them search it. And I was like, okay, why? I'm a dumb kid. I don't know. But I had they searched it. They didn't find anything. They were fine. Okay, we're gonna let you go. Whatever. Just slow down. Don't be speeding. And this is why we searched your car. I had a beanie in the back seat with a fucking pot leaf on the front. And it was just like I had no idea. Back once again, the back seat of my car when I'm driving does not really exist in my mind. So but anyway, yeah, that's like the closest squeeze with. No, that's not entirely true. I do have a good now that I'm going down memory lane. I do have a good cop story. So one time, me and my buddy, I'm just gonna call him Chops. Me and my buddy Chops, we're down in Florida. We're fucking, in high school, fucking around, and for whatever reason, I think it was just like this. It's like that childhood thrill, like of stealing. We didn't have to steal. We had money, but for whatever fucking reason, we made a habit of stealing our breakfast from like local gas stations, like once or twice a week during the school week. You know what I mean? So like we'd steal our shit and then we'd go to class. You know what I mean? And I think they eventually got onto us, but not before we stole several days worth of breakfast. But I think we were just getting greedy. We kept going back to the same gas station over and over and over again. And I knew it. I had this weird feeling. Like I even looked. Like I was like, I feel like somebody's in the coolers watching us. And I was fucking right. I had a weird gut feeling about it. But anyway, me and my buddy, fucking, we were, between the two of us, we had like $300 on us. We weren't like fucking broke by any means. Yeah, we decided to steal our breakfast that day. And guess who had, like, as we're trying to leave, while one of the clerks is confronting us about stealing, guess who happens to be getting gas in the parking lot? Fucking officer fucking guy. So he walks in like, who steals breakfast from a fucking, goddamn gas station where the police are actively gassing up? Like, this motherfucker came in for donuts and left with a fucking, catch, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, fucking stupid, bro. But yeah, me and this kid spent several hours in county jail due to our proclivity for stealing shit. I stopped stealing shit after that. One good tour to jail for it set me straight. But yeah, I was young and dumb once.
I don't think you would need a second stint, even of a few hours, to really want to go back. I never sought out situations. I just always kind of stumbled into them. I was living in down by Kansas City, and buddy asked if I wanted to go to an art house for after New Year's, or it was New Year's night. Clock turned 12. Yeah, you want to come down to this art house? It's kind of an art house coffee shop, so we could bring in our own alcohol and stuff. And all right, yeah, cool. Go down there, and it ends up being a fucking drug house. People are smoking meth or crack. I actually heard one of those guys doing the whole stone, like, dude, we're really just an essence on a material plane sort of conversations. And I'm just like, how the fuck did I end up here? And the cops show up. And so the guy who owns it, he's like, yeah, them all and just arrest me. It's okay. I won't resist. Just take me in. I'm like, how in the hell did I end up here? I'm not doing this shit.
Yeah, there was a time in my life where I don't know what, like, I hung out with some shady ass fucking motherfuckers. I don't know what I was thinking. Now looking back on it, I'm like, what the fuck? But I mean, yeah, there were some shady ass people in my life, but they were all good to me. So I don't know. I guess there was a time in my life where I could have been considered to be shady. I guess. But
It's just good stories, and you grow from it.
Exactly. So, before it gets too late, I wanted to get your 2 cents on a few things. I've kind of been batting around. We're all on some sort of spiritual journey at some point in our life. I was raised pretty Catholic for the most part. Lots of church on Sunday and hymns and the prayers and the beads and the wine and the bread and the communion and all of the stuff and things. But as I kind of grow older, it's like that's not really for me. I don't think organized religion is for me in general. There's just I don't know. I don't want to like yuck someone's yum, but there's just not what I'm looking for. It's not consistent enough. There's weird things that I just can't get behind. An omnipotent being of light and good and love, decreeing or demanding or expecting of lowly mortals like ourselves. So yeah, I don't know. I've kind of been bouncing between. I'm not entirely sure what I would consider my spiritual journey at this point, but I think I'm some kind of mixture between a deist and an agnostic. So, and I'll let you break down deism because I don't really know a whole lot about it. I know like an agnostic is a person who believes that nothing is known or can be known about the existence or nature of God or any divine being, really. An agnostic feels like that the ultimate truth is currently unknown or maybe like impossible to prove for kind of like reasons, I guess. Choosing to kind of hold like a neutral or like non-committal view rather than making like a firm choice. And I think that kind of like that's a lot of stuff that I kind of think about. I feel about. I am kind of neutral on it. Like I don't think that the gods of the organized religion are necessarily for me for correct, but at the same time, I guess I'm open to them being real. I'm open to them existing, but maybe just not in the way that people expect or think or and also like to interpret their will in these weird ways. That's just not for me. You know what I mean? But so tell me, I don't really know a whole lot about deism. I could tell you the definition of it, but yeah, as I think you told me you were a deist. So kind of explain that to me.
Yes.
Like, what does that entail?
So first, we got to break down the three distinctions. You did a little bit with agnostic, but you got theist, atheist, and agnosticism. Theists believe in a God or a supreme being, a creator, a first cause, if you will, something to get the universe going. Atheist, the A prefix meaning without or no, so without God. Their argument is everything we have seen, we can scientifically prove. We have consistently shown why the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. We have shown how weather works, what a warm current is. We can predict to an extent eruptions of volcanoes and even track hurricanes. We have done all this without there being a God. And just because we don't have all the answers, we have proven that that wasn't necessary for all these other issues. Therefore, there's no need for one. So it's without. It's not a disbelief, it's just they see no evidence or support for there being a God. Agnostic means no knowledge or without knowledge. And what they're saying is it is impossible for man to know. The only people who knows what happens after death are dead and they're not saying anything. The only way to know if there is a God is to know if there is a God. It's impossible for man to know one way or because even if there is a God, it might be a non-interfering God. So we would never experience it. It's somewhere out there in the vastness. So it's not so much their fence sitters, it's the nobody can actually know. Atheists and theists are both making claims they cannot prove and support Therefore, agnosticism is the way to go. And then you have subcategories. Agnostic atheist. I don't believe people can know, but I lean towards there not being. Or agnostic theist. I can't prove there's something there because nobody can, but I believe there is something there. Now, a deist believes in a God, a supreme being, a first cause. What shape that takes is unknown, but the extent that it happened was pretty much the laws of physics and by which the universe and world operate were put into place, and that's it. God doesn't care what's going on. He doesn't know you. You got cancer, he doesn't feel bad. Probably doesn't even where you have it any more than you're aware what's going on with an amoeba. We are insignificant. Therefore, the world just operates as it's going to operate. There's no divine interference. Uh, and you have layers to that. Some, I believe it was like Thomas Jefferson, believe that God has a hand in large events. So, like the creation of the United States, but not helping you find your keys. So, grand scale, not small scale. Others, such as myself, believes the laws of the universe were created and designed, but after that, it's all hands free. What happens, happens, and the universe is going to do what the universe is going to do. Uh, and I only know all this because I started my journey sixth or seventh grade. I got really heavy into Greek and Roman mythology. And one day I was walking home from school and I thought how cool it would be climbing Mount Olympus and find a cave and oh my god, all the stuff of the gods are there, Hades' helmet that makes you invisible, Athena's shield with the Gorgon head, Hermes' sandals. And I'm like, wow, to think 2,000 years ago people used to believe this was real. I wonder if in 2,000 years they're going to think, what I believe is real. Well, why wouldn't they? Wait, why would they? And then I fully sat down and I read the Bible with the same critical thinking that I used on all my mythology textbooks. And I realized that it has a lot of similarities to that, but that it doesn't have with a biology textbook or a history textbook. So, since I only knew pretty much Christian, Hindu, Muslim, and atheist, it's like I know what I'm not, so I must be atheist. And then learning through that, I found agnosticism, and it's like, well, it doesn't feel. It's still making a claim that I can't prove. I mean, you can't prove a negative, so you'll never be fully prove it. But it just, when you keep going back further and further to that first cause, something, and yes, it's a god of the gas. I fully admit that, which is why I keep it to myself. And so that's what I became for a while. And then, yeah, I came across the term deist and I looked into it and uh, listened to Thomas Paine's Age of Reason, which came out before Darwin's theory of evolution, the origin of species. So he pretty much, Thomas Paine, the guy who wrote Common Sense that helped form our republic, used deism and supported it by attacking the parts of the Bible that he felt were weak arguments.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I could see. I don't know. I guess just how it kind of came about naturally. Like the development of things. Well, first it kind of started as this, and then it kind of developed into something else. I could see. I don't know. That's kind of a intense journey. I also kind of started this journey young. I had like my roots in religion, in Catholicism. I was an altar boy briefly for like a year or two, and no, nobody molested me. I tried. I didn't. I wasn't that kind of kid. I wasn't. I was never invited to the puppy van with candy.
One of those times you're like, thank God I was an ugly child.
Yeah, I was scrawny and all knees and elbows. They didn't want none. So, but yeah, it just kind of developed into I don't know. I think the Christian philosophies are good. I think overall the religion in general is good. From what I can tell from just kind of being in the Christian zone, like there are good things that it does, but there's also like I don't know. I find it more common, at least more outspoken. And it's not because everybody's this way, it's because loud, obnoxious assholes are this way. But yeah, I would no longer consider myself a Christian. I don't really participate in that way of thinking or worshiping of Jesus in the Bible. But man, I get a lot rather than like the love and acceptance that is preached about in the Bible. Boy, I seem to get a lot of ruffled feathers. We'll say it's not
All.
always so pleasant. Especially in my neck of the woods, small town, lots of religious folks.
Out here in the farms, I get it. But I blame St. Paul. Because if you really look at it, Jesus would say one thing, and if St. Paul came later and said, no, he didn't mean that, he actually meant this, that's what the people go with. So, like, Jesus said the acts matter more than the words. Like, I'll separate the sheep from the goats, and, the sheep, their actions were good. They what does he say? Fed me when I was hungry, you clothed me when I was poor, you healed me when I was sick. They said, when did you do this? Whenever you fed the poor, whenever you healed the sick, you anything you did to the least of us, you did to me. And to the goats, they'll say, but we said you were coming and we profess our faith in you. And I'll say, but you did not do this stuff. What you do to the least of us, you do to me. You didn't take care of the people. You didn't do what I told you to. They made it very clear your acts matter, not just the words. Well, Paul comes along and he says, oh, no, 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 no. The acts aren't that important. It's the words, it's the belief. And that got picked up by the evangelicals, and that's why they proselytize as much as they do. Because to them, just saying, I am Christian and I profess my faith is more important and worth actually keeping the teachings of Jesus.
Yeah, I
So
gotta
they
say
can,
that's probably what kind of pushed me towards the direction of agnosticism and maybe even deism, which was it's not what the Bible says or how it says it or how it's worded. For me, it's how Christians have acted. My whole life I was preached to about love and acceptance and how only God can judge people and how you're supposed to turn the other cheek and all of this other also random weird shit like, oh, don't use condoms or you'll go to hell. But I was told about all these like philosophical things from a Christian point of view, and then rarely do I see Christians embracing these philosophies, or like it's just kind of bummed me out at a sense, and eventually I decided I don't know if I want to be part of this club, you know. I don't know if I have faith like they do. You know what I mean? Faith is a thing that not everyone has, unfortunately, and I don't think they realize that. Like it must be nice to just have all the fucking answers. You know what I mean? In faith, you just have the faith in this, and that's why. And it's like okay, and then they go along happy with their day. Like I am not like that. I'm like, but why though? I need why? Show me the
well,
proof. You
that
know?
that's why they're the same to say, there's no atheists in foxholes because they can't understand somebody being afraid and facing uncertain fate and not turning to something to ask for help. So it boggles their mind. But for me, my conversion didn't deal so much with the people because people are going to people and they'll take any good idea and absolutely ruin it. So I'm not surprised by their actions. But for me, it's learning the history. I listened to a podcast with Dr. Dan McClellan called Data Over Dogma, in which he really breaks down different parts of the Bible to the point that I am now of the opinion that Judaism of itself started off as a Canaanite polytheistic religion that happened to go monotheistic with Yahweh taking control thanks to them being uh, banished during like the Neo-Babylonian, and so they became a rallying cry, and that's where Judaism actually got its, which of course then would lead into Christianity. So the whole premise is already flawed. And then with Christianity, John the Baptist had his own sect that was a baptismal cult, and Jesus became one of his followers, but became more charismatic and then was martyred very quickly, but became the face of a movement. And then thanks to Paul changing it to make it easier to digest by getting rid of the eating restrictions and the acts don't matter, just say the words, and really streamlined it to a much easier to get into sort of situation. It just became popular. It was actually considered the religion amongst the poor widow or the slaves and the women, the weak. It was mocked until Charlemagne got his hands on it, and then convert by the sword, and yeah, the rest just happened.
Convert by the sword. Yeah, that's my. If you had truly good ideas and philosophies, you wouldn't have to use the sword.
Oh, you still would. Some people just some people just don't want to change their mind. If you tell them a fact that would change their opinion, they'll either one change what you said so the fact fits their opinion, or B, say that the fact is actually an alternative fact and what they believe is still true.
Oh, I run into those types a lot. So do you have anything you want to any other any like is there like a deism like saying or like motto, or is there like a
No.
no?
So, because any of that would be dogmatic. It's not organized like that because there's nothing to actually really believe. There's no scripture. I would recommend listening to The Age of Reason by Thomas Paine. Uh, he gets the science of humans wrong because, again, evolution wasn't very widely understood or known then. It became more prominent with The Origin of Species, which came out later. But he really breaks down the difference between deism and theism. In this case, primarily Christianity, because that's what was in Western Europe and the Americas so heavily. And the one thing that most deists do believe, to understand God at all is to understand nature. So take the time in the hikes, read up on space, because the universe is operating by the laws and designs that were created. And what is happening is just going to be what is supposed to happen. It's you can see the beauty, this the symmetry, and that it's chaos. It's not supposed to be clean and perfect. There is no utopia. The universe is going to operate, and all you can do is survive. So survive and enjoy your time while you're here. And then you can always, throw in your own little flavor. I had a little fun of sprinkling in some paganism, What if God himself or itself is out there, but somehow there's spirits within the universe that do inhabit the planet and they are in nature? What if They are a creation that evolved that we just aren't aware of. So maybe you have a house spirit or a tree spirit. You know, you can have a little fun ritual with that. I don't. I always say, have fun and whatever you want to believe is. Don't put it in schools.
I agree on that for
Uh,
sure.
you also have, and one you might want to consider is pantheism. And what that is that everything is of the universe. Every living thing is a part of the universe. The universe is God. So you are made of stardust, and when you die, your energy and spirit melds back into the universe to be crafted into something else that the universe needs.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that theory right there. Yeah. I have this weird like I don't know where this would fall under agnosticism or deism or fucking weird shitism, but I have this like weird theory that like okay, so if evolution is a thing that we understand and it's true, it's an accepted theory, creatures evolve in the great infinite all of everything of the universe. Uh, there's got to be some species that figured it out. Like, so we evolve, right? We've evolved to be the dominant species on this planet, but what's the next step? The next planet? How do we get there? Maybe we get so used to using certain types of technology or eating certain types of food that we begin to evolve further and further and kind of just like eventually kind of meld with technology in some sort of way or something like that. But that's not where it stops. After hundreds and millions, maybe even billions of years, we have gone down this like evolutionary process to where I feel like some species that didn't wipe itself out with like nuclear war or whatever the fuck is going on, some species figured it out there, and eventually this species or species in particular, who knows, but eventually they have evolved into like over billions and billions of years into this omnipotent being, you know what I mean? And like it might be I picture like the end superior being of all evolution being something like that weird space cloud god in Futurama. I don't know if you're familiar with Futurama, but there's like an
Yep.
episode where like Bender's soaring through space and he encounters like this several it's like a space cloud, but it's like several galaxies kind of smooshed together and it's actually like God. you know?
Well, let me take you in the other direction. What if perfect evolution is just pretty much a formless blob that is able to just replenish its nutrients organically and just exists?
I mean like the ultimate form would be like something like a starfish or I don't know, like I guess they don't technically do that, but yeah, that would be weird to be like the ultimate evolution
Just
is just a self-feeding blob that occasionally replicates.
an ooze that just, lies there. It has no predator, so it doesn't need a defense. It doesn't need to hunt for food. It just maybe absorbs, nutrients from the sun, and it can survive extreme heat, extreme cold, so it just, exists.
That's a good idea. I never thought about that, but yeah, it could be. What if that's what God is? It's just some omnipotent fucking ooze somewhere. It's like it's lived so many lifetimes and done so much shit. It basically understands everything that ever was or ever will be, and it's just kind of chilling on a rock somewhere, floating through
So
space.
I heard this really interesting theory about the multiverse. Right now our general idea is different universes stacked on top of each other. But the truth is, we don't know how big where we are really is. What if it's so large you had 7 different Big Bangs and they're all just those universes spinning toward each other? Because we don't know what's out in that space.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. I never thought of it like that.
which then just gets you into the case of, okay, what's beyond that? What's beyond that? The unanswerable unknown.
Yeah, that's deep. That's pretty deep, man.
Well, I mean, I've been listening to a lot of H.P. Lovecraft to prepare for the Call of Cthulhu story.
Oh, nice.
So it's really got my mind working on, you know, beyond the stars.
Remember, too much H.P. Lovecraft causes the madness, or whatever. So I got a question for you. While we're on some deep subject matter, let's turn the focus a little bit, but still pretty kind of weird, deep philosophy type of shit. Have you ever heard of the monkey sphere? Are you familiar with the terminology, the monkey sphere?
I'm going to say no, because that's one of those I don't know if I have or I just think I have, but I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll break it down. It's not it's not too complicated. So the monkey sphere is a colloquial term for the cognitive limit of the number of people an individual can conceptualize, empathize with, and maintain like stable relationships with at one time. So this it's called it's a concept that's tied to this thing called Dunbar's number, which I could talk about later. But it's basically suggests that human brains can only meaningfully track about 150 relationships. It's like a brain limitation. Like our physical brain size, specifically the neocortex is what he's talking about. It dictates how many complex social identities we can like process. So it's called the monkey sphere because it's like I guess Dunbar number started with like monkeys. He was watching like gorillas or great apes of some kind. But essentially, the monkey sphere is like the maximum amount of people you could possibly give a fuck about. It's kind of like so there's like this the out group effect. So people outside your monkey sphere stop being viewed as like full complex human beings. Instead, they are like treated like as abstractions, obstacles, statistics, background characters type of a situation. You don't really like people outside of your base like 150, and 150 is like a loose number. That's a generalization. Some people might have less, some people might have more, but it kind of comes down from like basically our ancestral tribes, our brains would like basically struggle to care about billions of strangers sharing our planet. It was more like immediately localized. So kind of like inside the sphere, family, close friends, maybe familiar coworkers are fully fleshed out like human beings whose pain and joy matter to us, to you or I. Outside the sphere, annoying drivers in traffic, distant groups of people, faceless names on the news are often reacted to with annoyance or indifference because they do not trigger like our built-in empathy circuits. You know what I mean? Celebrities or public figures can sometimes trick our brains into feeling like they belong in our monkey sphere because we see their faces and hear their stories regularly. So it's kind of a weird thing. Like you could put a celebrity in your monkey sphere, like for whatever reason, I fucking really care about Jack Black. You know what I mean? What's is that Errant Inc? Hey, thanks for popping in the chat. Appreciate you. Anyways, so what was I saying? I got distracted. Oh yeah, the monkey sphere. So it comes off of this thing called Dunbar's number. It's like a suggestive cognitive limit of approximately 150 people who we can maintain stable relationships with. I guess so. Okay, so in the 90s, this theory kind of posits that a person's brain can only track a limited number of like social histories, reputation, and personal dynamics before the quality of those connections degrade. Informal descriptions define it as like the number of people you would feel comfortable joining uninvited for a drink if you ran into them at a bar. So this like the science behind the number here, the neocortex ratio. I guess okay, yeah. He come out and studied some primate species and discovered like a correlation between the size of their neocortex, which is the part of the brain that handles conscious thought and language, and the average size of their social groups. So he went he went did the rounds, watching these great apes kind of in their tribes and things, and like how they kind of acted, and then he kind of like extrapolated that to humans by kind of looking at the average size of our neocortex and plugging it into his like primate data models. This Dunbar guy was able to determine that humans are hardwired for groups of roughly 150 or so people that make up your monkey sphere. So, like, the real world evidence of that would be like anthropologists have pointed out that this number appears consistently across human history, including the average size of like Neolithic villages, nomadic hunter gatherer clans, traditional Amish communities, and even modern military company units. And it's because you only have so many fucks to give. You know what I mean? There's a lot. You don't think about it like, I guess, consciously, but maybe subconsciously. Like, there's a lot that goes into socializing as a human. You know what I mean? There's like, well, I like this guy and we're friends. We like these activities, but this guy doesn't like that food and this person doesn't like that guy. So because whenever I bring this food or this other person around, this guy has a bad time and I care about him. So I want, him to thrive. So, et cetera, et cetera. But it's kind of weird how it kind of break it down. He breaks down. Because obviously we can know more than 150 people. That can't be like the limit. But he's talking about like your intimate circle is about 5 people. Your sympathy group, like good friends you see regularly that you trust, you could turn to for immediate sympathy. You got about 15 people there. Close friends, like frequent social contracts you would invite to a casual group dinner or maybe like a large party. You've got about 50 of those, that you can handle. And then meaningful contacts, just people that you might reach out to. Maybe you're not super close friends or family, but people that you occasionally encounter, that you have interactions with. You're looking at about 150 people, like meaningful contacts. Everything past that, even dramatically gets higher and higher numbers, like acquaintances. You can realistically have about 500 acquaintances, people that you know casually, but you don't really have active social ties with. And apparently, face recognition, if you knew the name of every fucking person, realistically, it's like the absolute limit of names you can match to faces without knowing anything deep about them. You can only pull down about 1,500. So this is kind of like a weird little, like, I don't know, the monkey sphere is like a weird rabbit hole that I went down, kind of looking into the various theories about, just shit that's like, I don't know, I like words of wisdom sometimes. I think that kind of shit's fun. I like looking into weird shit like that. But yeah, this like monkey sphere, that colloquial term, is just kind of weird to think that, like, realistically, you can only really manage about 150 relationships in your life, 150 people that you actually give a fuck about. And then like examples of it are like, we see one of our friends, somebody inside our monkey sphere dies, and we're like, or gets hurt or has something bad happen to them, and then we are like devastated, we are like super sad and upset about this one person's thing. How could this thing happen to this one person who I care about? Whereas like you later on that day hear on the news 1,000 people died in a tsunami, earthquake, fire, tornado, and you're like, well, that sucks. What's on the next channel? You know what I mean? You're completely indifferent to thousands of people dying, but this one person's thing you're fucking upset about. Like it's kind of a weird. It's a weird concept, but it's kind of true. I mean, you don't think about, you know, your brain's limitation very often. So it's like, I don't know. I just it's a cool concept to kind of bat around philosophically. Like, who the fuck is exactly in my monkey sphere? You know, I don't know if there's 150 people I care to hang out with, but I guess maybe at some point is that like my whole life or is that like right now? You know? It was just a weird kind of thought experiment I was fucking with. So let's see. Yeah,
Sorry, I was muted. No,
no worries. Go
I
ahead.
was saying I disagree with the premise of being able to remember 1,500 names and faces because I'm not remembering that many. It's a lot less than that.
Yeah, for me too, as well. My memory is not that good, not anymore. Maybe in my peak in high school, I knew a lot of motherfuckers, you know. Like, but then again, like you see townies, you know, wherever you go, you're like, oh, that's fucking red shirt guy on the corner. You never had a conversation with him, but maybe you went past him, fucking drove past him a dozen times or something. You know what I mean? It's like a weird concept, but I guess 1,500 is the max. I don't know.
Uh, I would say that 150 is definitely rotating because when you were in third grade, you cared about everybody in your third grade class. Now somebody can say, "Oh yeah, so and so passed." Oh, who was that? You were in third grade with them. Oh, okay. You know, that sucks, but not relevant to anything in my current life. So it's definitely got to be rotating, and I could see it eventually get to a point where if you care about more people, it's at the cost of care for yourself, and you end up prioritizing people. Because you're going to have friend groups that want you to come to this and come to that, and then you have to make decisions, and then how they react to decisions, they feel insulted, so they pull away, and as they pull away, you're not spending as much time with them, and that connection severed. So I could see. I know it's a range, but yeah, about 150, 200 people, because I work in a building with 85 people. I don't talk to all 85. I don't know a lot of them. Sometimes I find out months later that they quit.
Yeah,
I kids I went to high school with, don't have any connection to. Fourth cousins, I don't know. So, technically family, it's so far outside that that's whatever. I'm not going to, if I won the lottery, I'm not giving fourth cousin twice removed $100 because he needs a kidney transplant or something.
yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Yeah, I just
It
thought
makes
it.
sense.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, at first I thought it was a bit off because I'm like, I can see it being a yo-yo, while you care about people at work, but once you leave, they become background characters. You don't think about them for the rest of the day until the next day when you see them and you say good morning. But as you were describing the different circles, it was like, oh yeah, I see what he was implying, and it makes sense. You care something about your coworkers, but a lot of them you don't care that much about that you'd stress over.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's just kind of a fair assessment. Yeah.
I think that's
Uh,
also why collectivism works, because our spheres aren't going to be the same as other people's spheres. So, my monkey sphere would include you and the guys for our D&D sessions and stuff. And yours would hopefully include us as well as theirs. But mine doesn't include your parents, and yours doesn't include my parents. If something happened to him, you'd be like, "Oh, dude, that sucks. I'm sorry," but your sympathy would be more towards me than them. It's that whole monkey sphere. But if we're working together to protect each other by proxy, we are then also helping our each other's fears. Because instead of me being more concerned about my parents, because I'm concerned about you as them, I'm concerned about what you're concerned about, and we all sort of help each other through a broader web.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's a fun thought experiment, and when you think about it, and you like kind of like throw some actual critical thinking skills into it, you're like, fuck, man. That's it's like, I don't know. It's just it's a clever speculation, not assumption. It's a a real clever perception of this guy to like just kind of pick that up and throw it out there. It's like, wow, that's kind of incredible, to think about. But it's pretty true as far as I could tell. And I don't know if I mean, the 150 has to be rotating probably, but it could be like ever because when I was a young man and being more social, like going out to bars, and I had a shit ton of friends. We'd all fuck around and go do stuff. I don't do that stuff so much anymore. But at the height of it all, I mean, yeah, there was probably maybe 70 or 80 townies that I got along with that were good folks, and like aside from that, it was like a handful of my immediate family, So, and nowadays, it's probably significantly less, 150 people. Fuck, man, I could name maybe 30 if I tried. You know what I mean? So it's like, you and the guys at D&D are like, most of the outside sources there. Everybody else I'm basically directly related to. You know what I mean? So it's like, which, I don't know. It's just it's a fun thoughts process. The monkey sphere. It's definitely something worth reading a little bit about. I liked that. Just doing a little bit of research. It was light research on it, and then Dunbar's number, just kind of how he came up with it from watching like monkeys and gorillas and shit. I thought that was really cool. So I don't know, just a random tidbit.
I like to listen to Philosophize This, which is a podcast about philosophy, and he does the whole history. So he started way back. Talked to Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, Stoicism, and now that he's in the more modern, he's talking about all the thought experiments. Like we're in a technological feudal stage where you don't own anything, you work the labor for tech companies, basically. Everything you do is to a lord. You don't. If you buy a PlayStation starting next year, you don't own your games. You only own a digital copy that they could take away at any point. You're borrowing it.
Yeah,
But
I
he
kind of hate
goes,
that. By the way, I'm super pro physical media as some as a nerd and a collector and somebody who will occasionally pick up comic books or DVDs or something. I have several. I have dozens of Xbox One games that are just kind of irrelevant from the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X. They're not really. I don't know. I guess I could still play them, but they're not. I don't know. They're just kind of hard to come by, falling out of style. You know what I mean?
oh,
It's sad.
at some point we're going to get to it where when you get like a pacemaker put in, it's going to come with a subscription, and if you don't make the monthly fee, they're going to shut off your heart. Just, oh, sorry, you fell behind. You're dead.
Yeah, I think there's a movie about that shit too, where the repo guy comes for like your kidneys because you can't make the $20,000 a month payment or some shit.
There's two. There's Repo Man with Jude Law, and I think it has Ray Liotta. I'm not sure. I know Jude Law, or maybe Forrest Walker, somebody else. And then you have Repo Man: The Genetic Opera, which is a musical starring the actor who played Nigel from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I can't remember his first name. and it's a musical where he's ripping people's organs out.
I've not heard of the violent musical before. I might have to look into that one.
It was pretty entertaining.
I've been watching a lot of Tubi lately. I don't know what it is about Tubi. It's like, well, it's free. That's fucking why. But yeah, it's definitely got some random shows on there.
I say for the most part, I watched Dropout, which I
Oh,
told you
nice.
you need to check out.
I definitely love Brennan Lee Mulligan, so I probably should check out some Dropout stuff. I like a couple of those guys actually, like Murph and Emily are some of my favorites. Yeah, Zach Oyama,
Oh,
guy's hilarious.
but they have this show, Make Some Noise, and Brendan Lee Mulligan doing Sauron with Donald Trump is hilarious, or as a Dom DM. So he's his very first bit is like a get on your knees like a good girl. Oh, so you rolled a 2 on your dexterity. Okay, so you try.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I think I saw a clip, like a little something on the socials about that. I might have to actually watch the whole fucking thing. I enjoy those guys. I don't know why I don't watch that channel more. I should.
It's a subscription service. I think it's $7.99 a month now. But like I think I sent you my login information. They don't mind sharing. So
Oh
just
yeah,
hop on, log in, some stuff. If you like it, you can get your own subscription. And if not, well, you had a free trial.
yeah. I might have to take you up on that. And actually, jam through some of those things. I know there's some content that I would for sure like to get my hands on. Yeah.
Definitely.
So we're kind of just coming to the end here, wrapping things up. We've been shooting the shit for about 2.5 hours now. I don't want to take too much of your time, but before we take off, I try to end everything with like a segment or like a topic of something along the lines of like something that I'm happy about, something that I'm looking forward to, or I'm excited about. I don't know if there's anything like that cracking off in your life, but for me, it's fucking two things. I'm excited to get down on some Call of Cthulhu next week, so that's gonna be fucking awesome. Probably gonna live stream that. I don't know if anybody's paying attention right now, but tune in next Wednesday night. I'm gonna try to make like Wednesday night a thing, whether we get together to do some gaming or it's something like this, like a TBP talks. I'm going to make content on Wednesday nights, regardless. So I'm looking forward to that. But one thing I'm really looking forward to, and I've just started tinkering with, is fucking fantasy football. Okay, it's right around the corner. I've only got like a month left before I can actually get down on some fantasy football with my little my work league friends, and I'm fucking stoked. It's been a while. I haven't watched football in some time. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for some fucking NFL and me to not come in last because that's what I did last year. I have redemption to earn. Okay, I gotta not be in last place. That's the goal. So, and the year before that, I was in first. So I went from first to worst to now I'm here. I've tasted the bittersweet victory and defeat of fantasy football. I'm gonna have to fucking plow through some competition here this season. So hopefully that works out. Yeah. How about yourself? You have anything particular you're happy about or looking forward to, or something stoked makes you stoked?
I tried fantasy football, and I've always had that luck where I could pick the perfect player, and that season they just go to dog shit or get injured, and it's just like, you're not worth it. Uh, Enjoy football though. I'm happy for the season to come back. Cowboys fan. This is our year until about November. Then there's always next year.
Go
Boycotted
Bucks!
them last year. I boycotted the Cowboys last year because Jerry Jones getting rid of Micah Parsons pissed me off. So I can finally cheer for him again this year.
Yeah, that makes sense. That was a boner call, but whatever. I'm rooting for Baker Mayfield, man. The Bucks kind of shafted him on signing his contract this year, so it's like his last year under contract, and he was hoping to get like a franchise tag deal or some shit, and it just didn't happen. And so like he's bummed about it, but it might be Baker Mayfield's last year at the Bucks. Hopefully not. I need him to deliver and win the fucking division and get a big old bag of money so that he stays down there. You know, because I like him at behind center. I think he's a dog. He is a fun guy to watch play football.
Otherwise, just excited to get this Call of Cthulhu going. It's working on this story, well, you know, formulating it and figuring out all the ins and outs of it. It's weighing on the mind, and until I get it out, it just sits there and it's ready to explode. And so I've been listening to, a lot of H.P. Lovecraft to get the Cthulhu mindset and crafting my own stories. And yeah, it's I love D&D, but it's not very horror friendly because, well, we fought a freaking Tarask and a god and all lived to tell the tale. That ain't happening in Call of Cthulhu. You come across a god, you rolled a new character.
That's awesome though. That's excellent. I like the stakes are high in like horror. So it's like I don't know. It's fun. It's something I haven't tried before, and I'm fucking stoked about getting there. And yeah, I feel you with having the stories in your head that you just kind of got to get down, and then I don't know. There's something about writing versus writing for an audience. You know what I mean? Like what I write in my notes or for myself is one thing, but when I write something to share with, like you and the fellas in the scope of D&D, it's like a whole nother type of writing. I don't know. Something about having an audience for your material changes things. You know what I mean? It's like usually for the better. I enjoy it. It's definitely a good like outlet or for not only just a social but like creative, emotional outlet. Even you know what I mean. It's definitely a good time. Fucking putting those tales together and running your buddies through the ringer.
Well, I think part of that is because when you write for yourself, you know yourself. You're going to be as gentle and friendly to your writing as possible, so you'll slack on it because, well, you're going to forgive yourself. But when you're writing for an audience, you're trying to impress other people, so it draws more out of you, makes you dig deeper. It's not going to be it was a sunny day and the tree was growing. You're going to, get in there with describing the entire day, the temperature, the environment, so you draw them into your little world. And then when you see that look and you see the excitement and the horror supposed to be scary, or you draw somebody to tears when that's what you're going for, you just feel really good that your work is being appreciated for what it is instead of, the half-ass that you're going to forgive yourself for because, your day. You get it.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's I don't know. It's definitely rewarding. I enjoy it. It's almost like cathartic.
Eh, uh, Gets out thoughts and emotions that, you don't have another way to get out.
Hell yeah, that's true. So I feel we're kind of wrapping things up. So I feel like I should mention the Spotify and YouTube channels that are also kind of tied to this one for anybody catching up. If you might be watching this on YouTube, if you've got some comments, what other fucking powers does Bigfoot have that I missed? Drop that shit in the comments. Let me know. If you, how do you feel about fucking Pitbulls? You got a crazy story about an awesome one? Maybe a shitty one about one that ripped your face off and why you can't stand the dog breed anymore? Whatever. Throw it in the comments, man. I'll read all that shit. But aside from the YouTube channel, most of my audio only stuff like TBP Talks and my Dungeons and Dragons or soon to be Call of Cthulhu live streams will eventually end up on YouTube. But a lot of that stuff is on Spotify as like an audio only version. Not everybody's got time to pop in and view everything, but the battle maps and stuff are on the YouTube. So kind of bounce between whatever you guys are into. And obviously streaming here on Twitch. All of these channels, all of them, YouTube, Spotify, Twitch, it's all Tater Brain Pod. So pop in there and check out some of my content. It's gonna be getting made and released regardless. So come give it a look. Aside from that, my streams on Twitch, a lot of the time, I like to do TBP Talks. I'm definitely going to be streaming some more tabletop role-playing game content. But I also stream various indie games. I'm super into a handful of indie games right now. I like to intro games, but some of the games that I'm into right now are very Call of Cthulhu-y. You know what I mean? The Darkest Dungeon definitely has some H.P. Lovecraft vibes. I'm pretty into that. I've been playing a little bit of a Dredge lately, and the whole setting of Dredge has got some very Lovecraftian elements to it that I quite
That's
enjoy.
the one with the happy people.
Yeah, that's the one with all the happy people. Yeah, I counted out of like 60 or 70 NPCs, like one of them's got a smirk, one of them's got a smile, and the rest don't want to be there, or at least not talking to me. Maybe I'm the problem. But Dredge, Darkest Dungeon, that's a super fun one. I like rafts. Oh shit, I even get down on some. I don't play like super AAA games, like major developer games, a whole lot. But I mean, they're fun as shit for a reason. If you're gonna spend $100 million and several years to develop a game, I mean, I might give it a shot. But indie games are kind of my specialty. They're my jam. I'm really into like art, and I really like the particular. Just various art styles, but also the music that comes with it. I'm into the various, art, music, and storyline are things I'm really looking forward, and not necessarily gameplay, which is weird when it comes to a video game. I feel like video games are like now the pinnacle of art when they can put like physical art, like paintings and drawings and things, and then also the music, and then the incredible story. I will play a game with terrible gameplay if it has a good enough story. I'm a sucker for a good story. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing on the channels. So, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks again, Chris, for helping me out with this particular stream. Do you have anything you want to plug or anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Just thanks for having me on, and look forward to doing it again, and ready for some Call of Cthulhu.
Hell yeah, me too. All right. Well, again, thanks everybody for tuning in. I am going to take off. Appreciate y'all. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I'll see you around. We're gonna play the outro as we jam and then bail.